Okay, well, what's this video about? Well, back in April or May 2020, I bought a well-known brand amplifier, American-made amplifier, from a well-known UK dealer. And I wanted something to, to demonstrate and review with an inside and out review. And I thought that would be a good idea at the time. Unfortunately, when I got the amp, the first thing I did was to try it out. And one of the little switches that pertained to the particular sounds of the amp hardly worked at all. And I thought that was rather funny. I called the dealer and asked him, and said, "Hey, what's wrong with this?" And he said, "Oh, nothing." That's how they are. And I thought to myself, well, that's a bit strange for an amplifier that costs £1,400 or $1,900 to some readers or viewers. Anyway, I proceeded with the review, as you'll see in the upcoming video, all the way through, and I pulled the chassis out. And as I worked my way through the chassis, it kept nagging in the back of my mind about that tone and sound. And then I saw, well, something that shouldn't be inside that amplifier for that sort of money, from what people call an American high-end amp maker. And it shouldn't have been in there either from, well, a UK English high-end dealer. I think that's just wrong. So I wasn't going to release the video, and in fact it's sat there since May last year. But I did show it to someone. He said, "You know what, you should put it out there and let people see the sort of problems that you can get." And I thought about that for a long time. And you know what, he's dead right. He's dead right, because if you go out and buy something, you trust the people that make it, and you trust the dealer that sells it to you, to both have your interests in mind, and that is to supply exactly what you pay for. I mean, after all, the dollars weren't second hand, were they? They weren't no good. They weren't in some way bad. Yeah, they'd even had tax paid on them. Which is funny. So I decided to publish it in the format it's in. It's coming up any second now, really as a education type of video, to teach people that when you see a review on YouTube or anywhere else and they don't show you inside like I do, that cannot be in your best interests, because you will believe or assume, take your pick, that that product is made as you would like it to be made. And that's not always the case, as this video proves. It's the only amplifier I've ever sent back to the dealer, ever. And bearing in mind I left school in 1968, that really says a lot. I've had so many amplifiers, different brands. I've still got well over 20. So is the video. You make your own mind up about whether this should be shown or whether it shouldn't. Well, my personal view is, just like my friend said, it should be shown. I'm back in livid 4K. Well, hopefully. Maybe. Or not. Oh, what have we got here? Well, it's one of those amps that's got a great reputation. Whether that reputation's founded or not, we're going to find out in this video of an inside and outside review. And this is a Friedman JJ Jr or JJ Jr, they call it. This is the head, as you can see, and we're going to take a look inside before we do anything else, and then we're going to have a look around the back, around the front, pull it apart, do all the stuff, and then we're going to have it out in the studio just to see how really good it is. Yeah, it's up against a lot of things out there, so we'll see, won't we? Anyway, let's get down to it. Well, as you can see, the back just comes off just a bit like a Marshall does, actually. Yeah, very Marshall designed, isn't it? And as you can see on the back here, the chassis is held in place with just 4 screws once you take the cover off. Well, here's the chassis taken out of the case. Let's go and take a closer look. Okay, well, here we are. First of all, we've got the power transformer. You can see they're all Friedman type of things, what you'd expect really. So power transformer, output transformer, not that much to look at on the top here. We've got 2 EL84s, which are JJ tubes, and you can see that picture on the screen right now that shows you a little sticker that came from Ruby tubes. Fancy that. Well, there they are, JJ. Not my favourite, might be yours, but they're not mine. Moving along a little bit, we've got basically 3 preamp tubes. The 12AX7s, 7025s it says there, 12AX7As in fact, and there's some Chinese brand called ARS. I would have expected something a little bit better than a cheap Chinese, a cheap Chinese tube. Oh my god. Well, it is what it is, I suppose. You get what you get. They don't give you any options to have better tubes in, so I suppose it's good enough for them, so it's good enough for you. Yeah, let's look a bit closer at them tubes. Well, there's not really much you can say about them, is there? Except that they will be coming out. Oh my god. And there's the dynamic duo of EL84s. Let's whip one out and just have a quick ganders. Yeah, EL84. They've had a sticker on the front that's been peeled off. That's probably the one on the outside there. Who knows? Nothing special there. Oh well. I'll be changing them too, I think. They're not my favourite things, them aren't. I've had them fail in another amp. And that signature's there is supposedly Mr. Dave Friedman, or the one on the side here, who knows? It's not readable, is it? But he's supposed to sign every amp. Well, he might sign them, but it don't make it go any better or any worse, does it? It is what it is. It's nice to see a signature, but I wouldn't put any value on it, would you? And there's a quick shot of the big fat power transformer. There's a quick shot of the output transformer. Well, don't hold it against it. And here we are inside the chassis. Well, there's quite a lot of things going on in it. Some good things and some maybe slightly less good things, but I don't know, you make your own mind up. We'll zoom in a bit closer in a second or two. Well, as you can see on this one, it's got a PCB inside it. It isn't a sort of hand-wired anything really. It's PCB. Looks like it's come off a machine, but when I look through it, there are a couple of areas where you can see that there has been some hand soldering, but it's not really quite as good as you might think, but we'll have a look at that in a moment. So what I'm going to do is whiz down that end and have a quick run across the board as we go. Yeah, sounds like a good idea, you know. Overall, it doesn't look a badly made amp or anything like that. It's got reasonable parts in it. Some of the parts are not that brilliantly made, you know, not good brands, but some of the other parts are fine. Well, here we are down the business end where the power transformer comes in. These are power transformer wires coming in here. They're not actually marked in any way other than on the board just with the colours, so I can't really tell you much about them. But you do have 1, 2, 3, 4 fuses inside here. If you bear that in mind, that if ever your amp's pretty much dead or something, come and have a look at them, won't you? Because, well, clearly you've got to pull the chassis out to see them. We've got down here is a rectification right there. You can see it well in and out of the way, but it's there. And as we sort of move along the board, the first thing you come across is this big fat thing here. Now, strangely, those big capacitors, there's actually 4 of them, there's one further down. They're the same brand as the Chinese tubes. So I don't hold much out for them. They might be great, they might not. I mean, I don't really know them, do you? Don't worry. Then we got a lot of these type of resistors floating around. You can see them. Only thing about them, the single thing about them that concerns me a little bit, is they're actually surface mounted flat on the board, and usually these type of, like a big ceramic type of thing, these type normally get quite hot, and I just wonder if that's going to be a problem later on down the road. That's the power switch on the front of the amp, and it's held into place with a silicon. Reminds me of fractal audio somewhat. I'd have thought they'd done better than that in a Friedman. Bear in mind it's American. Okay, well, moving along a bit is something else I've seen before as well, but not in this amp, of course. Right down there, you see that sort of gold thing? Well, that's like a big fat resistor. It probably takes away the output, because it says you can run the amp with no speaker if necessary. Yeah, I haven't read too much about that yet, but there it is, and that'll be why it's there, to reduce the output watts really. Yes, it goes all the way along from there, down here, to there, where my stick is. Last time I saw one of those, it was actually in Mesa Boogie Royal Atlantic. Yeah, on the back. I've also seen one inside the Mesa Boogie cab clone. See, I'm always somebody that would like input and output being fitted as well as that is. It's got screws on it, it's all nice, and it's coming out anytime soon. This one here, it's got none of that gunge around it, and it's screwed on there, and it all looks good. But this one didn't look quite as meaty really. Yeah, what can you say? You've got a little relay there, and you've got some form of circuitry there. Now, I don't mind seeing this stuff held in place with silicon, that's not a problem. But when I see switches dangling around like that, it's not, I don't know. I don't think it's what I'd expect to really see. Up in the corner here, this is the send and return, or the foot switch on the end to turn it on and off. So it comes in there and connects to the board, and so I guess all the circuitry's around here. And taking a look just there, now I have no details about this, but taking a look just there, that looks to me like the amount of drive you're going to push out to the send. There's no external controls, as you'll see in a moment, but there is a variable resistor, we'll call it that, a little pot, that could probably, I guess that's what it's for. Yeah, all good, eh? And I also thought, just having a quick look down here, where they fitted this across, looked a bit gungy down there. Can you see it? All along there. In fact, it would almost scrape off that would. I don't know. But what I do like to see are all these pots. All nice and easy to change. And that's always been important. And when I look inside a Marshall sometimes, you know, they're another type of pot that are not too great, but these will just flip off. And you can put some more in. I think that's really, it's pretty cool, that is. And if you have a look down at the input section, this is where your guitar comes in, and that goes off very nicely to another little board into the main board. I like these little boards that you see around the unit, because the fact is you can screw them off and get new ones. Well, if you can't get new ones, you could make them, and I always think that's a good thing, don't you? Yeah, you can see them boards, they're all over the place. There's one here, there's one here, there's one on the side there. That'd be a bit harder to make, but you could do it. And you know, all nice. By the way, there's pots down here across the front. They're all alpha pots. Them are. Now I know that in general, correct me if I'm wrong, but EL84s don't need any biasing as such. And I can't find anywhere where you'd actually adjust that anyway. So bear that in mind. I think you just change the tubes on the EL84s. Correct me where I'm wrong. Well, there, that wasn't too bad, was it? And very interesting to take a quick look inside. Surprised about one or two bits, especially, like I said before, cost of this amp is not cheap in England. It's in fact £1,499. That's about $1,800 and $1,900 in England. So costs a bit more than it does in the USA, which I think is $1,499 US dollars. Seems the same price everywhere. You know, the UK's got this tax on the top. Yours has got to add the tax. So everywhere it's about the same money. Anyway, enough of that for now. What we're going to do is take a look along the back, see what we've got to go at, and then a quick look along the front. Won't be long before you get to hear it. Down at this end we've got the foot switch that controls the loop. We've got a send and a return. All nice and simple really, plug in and go, I guess. Well, here's the next chunk. We've got a balanced output that you can whip off to your desk, I suppose. Yeah, why not? That's what I say. And we've got a few different things going on here that relate to the balanced output. We've got a ground lift. We've got an axis center or edge for where the mic should be, if you will. And we've got a -10 or a -30, which is a bit of a drop. Yeah, worth knowing about. We got a Jerry Cantrell logo with JJ Jr, I think it says. Can't read it too well from here. And then moving along, we've got the speakers, and I'm just going to move a bit further down to see them. Yes, there they are, pretty straightforward. Use first, it says. Second one there. We've got 16 or 8 ohm impedance switch. This is one of the switches that was held in place with the silicon. I guess it's alright, but is it? It's a real question. Okay, well, here we go. We've got the HT fuse, which you can get at from the outside. Nice, that's like most amps. And then we've got this mains, and you can see very clearly there, it says 240 volts. Yeah, nice. But on the top of the chassis it says 230 volts. Which one is it? Is that referring to the fuse in here? Because there is a fuse in here. It probably is, but it's a bit misleading somehow. And lastly, we've got these CE approvals that I always harp on about, but we've got the CE, that matters, I'm not bothered about that one. That one matters, and we've got a Roche. So we've got the 3 key ones. We've got, over here it says assembled in Los Angeles, so that's where it's assembled. And have we got anything else? Let me have a look. Yeah, it's all down the bottom. Further along, it does actually say, you can see down there that it actually, you can only just see it, but it does actually have Friedman's address. So it has the address, the origin, which is Los Angeles. It has all of the approvals, and it's exactly what it should have been on a Fractal Audio XFX3. Down here we've got the JJ Jr logo. We've got the power switch that's, again, that's the other one that's held in place with the silicone. We've got the presence, the master, the treble. There's the middle, there's the bass, there's the gain. And we've got a clean volume at the end, and that's where your guitar goes in. All nice and simple. Well, not quite. We've got a few little switches we can play with. Yeah, all good. This one here is a bright switch. It's only got 2 positions. Oh no, it hasn't. It's got 3. It was in the middle when I got it. This one relates to the channel, so that's any one of the 2. And this one here says JBE over it, and that's got 2. Now we did see on the PCB that the PCB was off a runt. It said very clearly runt PCB. So maybe it turns it from a runt to a JBE. Yeah, who knows? They don't tell you. Whatever it does, yeah, there it is. And that's it for along the front as well. There's not really much to look at on this amp. Don't worry about that. They do sound good. You'll find out. So that's the last overall shot before we go back up, so to speak. And can you convert it to 120, or can you convert a 120 to a 240? Honestly, I can't answer it. It tells you very little about nothing about that. Well, it's all good so far, right? Few anomalies, but the good bits are the good bits. You know, the approvals are all good and it's made well enough, I guess. There's a few funnies on it, but it's like most things, I guess. In any case, here it is. We've got what we've got, and you go forward from there. You might buy one with no silicon, or you might buy one with different tubes in at some stage. Who knows? I'm sure that over time they change things around and get different suppliers for different things, but that's what I found in it. I'm going to put this back in its case and we can get down to more of the nitty gritty. Hold on. Okay, well there you have it, back in its case. Well, what's it come with? It comes with a mains lead. Yours might look different. Comes with a cable designed for this floor pedal that allows you to switch channels. And you could say it's a pretty rudimentary floor pedal. Yeah, it's got a LED on it, and it's on or it's off, and that's about it. So it's not really that different than some of the earlier Marshalls, is it? You also get a manual, of course. Here it is, the Cantrell JJ Jr. And most of it's pretty boring, if you want the truth. Got a little bit on those switches that we talked about earlier, those three there. What it says here is 3-position switch, bright switch, that varies the overall brightness of the clean channel only. Boring. Channel selector switches between clean and dirty. Well, we couldn't do anything else with it, could we? And then we got the JBE switch, primarily designed to add gain, compression and saturation, it says here. It's normal for the volume level to drop with this engage, compensate with the amp's master volume. But the master volume then affects the clean channel. Go figure, we'll see later on. We could talk about the little bits on the back with the balanced out. Balanced out, XLR output used to send your JJR tone straight to the mixing board. Ground switch, pretty obvious. Axis switch simulates mic placement on the centre of the speaker or on the edge. The level switch, a level pad for the XLR output. Well, it's basically what I said before. But more important than that is the warranty. Now, I can't find things written down in England about warranties, but I can find them written down in the manual that comes with it. And the manual says it's got a limited lifetime warranty. Well, it has on everything except the tubes. The tubes are 90 days, I'm afraid. And why am I surprised with JJ? I'm not. And that's why I switched them out. Oh, what for? Yeah, I switched them out for a pair of Softech. Made in Russia, it says here. These are the older ones. Yeah, I'll go at getting them now. Oh, how does this thing sound? Well, you're going to find that out presently. Well, just a bit of summing up, and then we'll be out to the studio. Well, what do I like? Well, I like how it sounds. Yeah, I like the quality of the case. That's nice. All looks good from the outside. I don't like the feet too much. They're a bit like furniture feet. Yeah. What else do I like? Oh yeah, I like all the approvals because they're all good. It's got everything on it should have. And I like to see that. It shows that the manufacturer actually cares. Yeah. Well, there might be some more things I like. I like the overall inside. It's not bad. I don't like the tubes. Cheap Chinese tubes for 1,500 quid. It's a bit of a joke. Yeah, I've seen it before. So I've got rid of the worst culprits, but there'll be more to go soon, no doubt. I think the overall build of the amp isn't that bad, but I don't like the silicone around those switches. I don't think it was made to be like that, and that's, well, I've only ever seen one other product ever like that. And actually that had chewing gum around it rather than silicone, and that was a Fractal Audio Axe FX 2 and an Axe FX 3. Does that count as two products? Might do. I mean, Fender never did that. I've never seen anything like that on other brands. So that didn't impress me. I wasn't too keen either on some of the soldering on the bits that look like they've been added on later. I don't know if they were. Well, they certainly didn't look right. I didn't like them big capacitors either. If you want the truth, they're the same make as those Chinese preamp tubes. They didn't convince me about anything, to be honest. How many other people showed you any of that? Nobody. So how would I rate the amp? Well, I have played it, and it plays nice. It does play pretty well. But what would I give it as a score? Yeah, it's a difficult thing. I mean, most of it looks pretty cool. Yeah, it's sort of reminiscent of the Bogner. But if anything, the Bogner's made better. Well, I know it's made better. It was definitely made better. So I'd give this about an 8. Yeah, that's the most I can give it. Because of the things inside and the tubes and all the things that make it a bit less than perfect. It's still good, else you wouldn't get an 8. But there's a few things that make it less than perfect. They might not matter to you. Well, they might in 4 or 5 years when it stops. But then again, you might fall back on the limited lifetime warranty that is a nondescript for the UK. So if you live in the UK, it might be a bit of a problem. I don't know. I talked about price earlier on, didn't I? And they're supposed to be £1,499 everywhere. I'm sure that's what everybody would like it to be. But there is a variance, and I saw this one for £1,449, and I could have just pressed the button. There was 2 prices generally. There's £1,449 and £1,499 and nothing else in between. That's a strange situation to start off with. But even worse than that, there was nothing lower from anybody anywhere. So I ended up having to call to try and get a better price. Yeah, sounds like a plan, and you need to do the same. Don't go and just click a button on some internet site, because they're all at list price or near enough, and they're going to tell you they don't make any money. Well, I can tell you now, with what's in that amp for the £1,500 it is in the UK, somebody's making a lot of money. Don't let anybody kid you, whether it's Mr. Friedman, whether it's the distributors or the dealers, call them what you will, but it ain't me and you. In any case, like I said, it's a good sounding amp, and that's always one of the key, well, one of the most important factors. But never assume that, never assume that the quality of the product and its components doesn't matter, or the safety of the unit doesn't matter. Everything matters, because you're paying for it, whether you like it or not. Let's go and have a look outside, see how it sounds.